This is the Book Deal podcast,
where you will discover the inspiring stories behind your favourite books.
We interview seasoned and debut authors, as well as publishing industry professionals, to bring you the best tips and advice on how to get that elusive book deal.
So no matter what stage of writing you're at, we've got you covered. I'm Tina Strawn.
I'm Madeleine Cleary.
And I'm Natasha Rye.
And join us as we pull back the curtain of published authors.
One deal at a time. The Book Deal podcast acknowledges the traditional owners of the land and waters which it's recorded on and pays respect to their elders past, present and emerging. Hello, ladies.
Why, hello there.
Hi.
It's been a long time since we've caught up. We were just saying it's probably been a couple of months, and I reckon we've got lots of things to update each other on.
I think so. There's been a lot happening. So much happening.
I got to see you both in Melbourne as well, which has been so exciting. So Tash and I, we had a lunch yesterday that started at 12:30 and ended at 7:30 p.m.
Love it.
Which is awesome.
Love it.
But Tina, tell us about your updates, because you've literally launched a book in this time.
I have, I think, since I spoke to you last. Yes, I have. Nika and the Storm, so book 2 of the Wilder Zoo series. And so that came out in July, but it was a bit of I had a longer sort of launch period, which culminated in a couple of weeks ago in Melbourne at Melbourne Zoo, launching it there with lions at the window and all of my favorite and snakes and someone did a post and it was like, oh, coffee and biscotti and snakes. I was like, I haven't had that at a launch before, but super fun and hanging out with all my favorite author friends and favorite family and Catherine Collette also very lovingly came and helped me be my book launch buddy, and my beautiful publisher Lisa Berryman. So it was so nice just to hang with that crew down there, because I always see everybody in Melbourne and in Sydney have these awesome get-togethers. So it's so nice to come down and meet them for a little bit too. So that was really good.
It was a packed event too. It had such a good vibe on the day. Like, you really pulled a crowd, Tina, and there was so much love and support for you in the room. And we were just reflecting earlier, like, it was wonderful that your publisher, Lisa Berryman, also came to that. And I think just seeing her support of you was really fantastic as well.
Yeah. No, it was lovely to see her because, she does live so far away. And everyone, the weather was terrible that weekend. It was so bad.
It's Melbourne.
It was so bad. I know, but it was worse than normal. There was like sheep grazers warnings. Like, people were legit getting warnings that their sheep could die. And I was like leaving the Gold Coast with the blue sky and the 24 degrees. And
you kept sending me, both of us, photos of the Melbourne weather, like just a snip of the Melbourne weather. And I think I was in Noosa. So I was like,
you're like, I don't care. I was like, sort this, Madeleine. I'm coming to Melbourne. Sort this, please.
I still had intense FOMO that I couldn't make it for that. But it looks so good. Can you do one in Sydney, please, at Taronga Zoo?
I'd love to. Oh, I have plans, Natasha.
Yeah, you could do it like with the giraffes in the back.
Oh, I know. We'll have giraffes on the cover of all the Wilder Zoo books, so it will only be fitting. So, yes, it was busy and it culminated in that, which was just a lovely, beautiful weekend. And, so it was a long launch period, but it was lots of fun.
There was a baby giraffe too, speaking of giraffes. Did you see
Noodle.
the baby giraffe? Noodle.
Yeah, the cutest thing ever. I know.
So cute.
Oh, but Madeleine, tell me, you had to have gone to the butterfly house, right?
Oh my gosh. So
Did you?
Yes, of course. And I was there with my nieces, and that was their favorite part, the butterfly house.
It's one of my favorites too.
So gorgeous. We had so many beautiful butterflies landing on us. It was very special.
And I don't suppose you had a copy of the butterfly women there.
I did not. I was just like, I should have done some book promo. Like, I should have thought about, Jessica Box's advice in the last episode, which is the piece to camera piece, done some promos, scheduled some content, time box, all that kind of stuff. But I didn't.
I love the time box.
I know, I know. And Natasha, I went to your event yesterday at the Emerging Writers Festival in Melbourne. I just love that both of you are just coming to me. Like I don't have to go anywhere.
It's handy.
And that was a fabulous event. So many people. There would have been like over 100 people in the room.
I know. I'm glad I didn't know that going in, um, because because we were just in this little green room, Tina, and they took us through like the building, so I didn't actually get to see the space at all. I had no concept of what
Oh,
it was like.
wow.
And I was asking one of them, I'm like, so what is it? Is it like just a room? Is it like a theatre style? And they were like, oh, it's kind of long and skinny. And I'm like, oh, okay. So when we actually came on stage, I was a bit taken aback. I was like, oh my God, okay.
Yeah.
But it was good because they had proper spotlights, so which means I couldn't really see lots and lots of people. I could just kind of see the first few rows.
Handy.
And then I did get sight of Mads in the crowd, and I was like, yes, there she is. Okay, good. Now I feel better.
And it was so funny because I think you mentioned the Book Deal podcast on stage, and then Christine Newell, who was sitting with us, she did a woo woo.
Oh, did she? Christine.
And
good
you
on
heard
you.
that, didn't you?
I did. I heard that faintly, and I remember at the time going, I hope that was a whoop whoop and not a boo.
Oh, never.
But Natasha
cool.
was facilitator, she was the moderator, and she was amazing. So skills on show. And obviously you are a very skilled interviewer. You interview the Book Deal, but you also do so many. So anyone who's wanting to book Natasha Rai in for future moderating gigs, you can contact her via website, via the Book Deal podcast Instagram.
Thank you, Madeleine.
I love how you promote us, Madeleine.
I know.
Always, always. Actually, we were both pitching each other at bookshops all over Melbourne as well.
Work.
You got to do
You should
that,
go in
Michael.
pretending to be each other's publicist and just be like, oh, Madeleine's publicist. Here she is.
I'd love to be a
Good work.
publicist. I think I'd
You'd be
enjoy the
so
job.
good at it. Oh my gosh. You've just got
It's
so much
exhausting.
drive and so much like oomph. Half the time I'm like cowering behind the bookshelves and you're like going up like, hello, have you got? And it's just so awesome to see you in action.
But what about you, Madeleine? What's your update? You have been super busy as well.
I think actually this probably leads into what we want to talk about, which is burnout for writers. And, you know, we never ever stick to theme when we have our catch-ups, but I think this is an important one to talk about and to stick to theme this week. I don't know. I just think that the last 2 months have been incredibly busy and tough. You know, lots of things going on in my personal life and health-wise, and compounding with, you know, an enormous amount of still publicity and events, which I'm so grateful for and I absolutely love doing. And you don't want to ever say no to things as well. I'm sure you both find that too. And you know, I think a lot of people outside the book world sort of said to me, oh, just, you know, just take it a bit more easier and say no and put boundaries. But you don't want to, because you never know. It dries up quickly, doesn't it? I don't know. You want those opportunities. So like, for example, last week, I had a throat infection and conjunctivitis, hence why I'm wearing my glasses, and lots of things going on. But, you know, Sydney Bad Crime Writers Festival was on and I was traveling, and I was very close to pulling out because I was so sick. But in the end, decided to go, and I have no regrets. But it does take a toll on your body and your, you know, health and all sorts of things. Particularly because, you know, a lot of these festivals, you do one panel, but it's also all the energy you give in and around.
A lot of energy.
Yeah. So I guess, I'm curious to know what your perspectives are on this, because I think all of us have been incredibly stretched and busy. We all have our day jobs, our personal lives, and our writing lives since publication. So how do we how do we find a new normal? And I don't know, Natasha, you seem like a good person. You've got a calm, authoritative voice on this.
I don't know about that, but I can talk about what I'm figuring out, because I haven't figured it out yet. So like you, Madeleine, like there's been some festival stuff, there's been some intensive training I've been doing for my counselling work, and then I'm also judging a prize. So I've got entries to read. And what I started to realise was, like you, I don't want to say no, but one thing that helped me when I was saying yes was to see how it looked in terms of my time commitment for each thing, and really getting a sense of where the overlaps were. and going, right, in those times of overlap, like for example, I'm going to have to read these 3 books plus start reading the entries for this prize at the same time. So there's one weekend where I'm going to be doing both. So what I did was, right, okay, I can't do any social stuff that weekend. And it's not a sacrifice. I chose to do these events. So that helps me when I can look and see what's coming up and then plan accordingly. The other thing I know is what my signs are for coming up to burnout. So as soon as those signs come up, I do things that I know are going to be good for me. And I don't want to turn this into a full counseling session, but there's a real distinction between doing things that are self-care and doing things that enable you to keep going at the pace that you're going, because they're not the same. Self-care is about genuinely looking after yourself or finding a way to give your body and your mind a break. The other, which I call management strategy, is to enable you to do things at the frenetic pace or whatever it is that you're doing, which doesn't actually give you a break. So
what would be some good examples?
I know. So obviously, people always think about burnout, or maybe they don't. I don't know. There's a common conception maybe that with burnout, if you only could take some time off, right? You could just take some time off to rest and then you'll feel better. And yes, that is true. And if you have the luxury or the ability because you have sick leave, stress leave, whatever, you can do that. But if you don't, it's about finding glimmers. So it's like I exercise every single day. For example, I'm not talking about me. This could be a person. And so you go 2 days a week, I'm actually going to choose to sleep in. Or I don't exercise, and when I do, I feel better. So 3 days a week, I'm going to do a 10-minute walk. It's just little glimmers. And if you find that the thing you're trying to do for yourself is actually putting more demand on you in any way, like it's taking up your energy, it's feeling like a different chore, it's probably not going to be self-care. And it doesn't have to be a full-on thing. It can literally be, as I said, glimmers. So going to bed a bit earlier if you can, or getting up a bit later if you can. All those little things that give your body just a bit of some space, essentially.
I love this. I think this is great. Do you know, I was in the car today on my way to a family picnic for my dad's birthday. And I was writing my dad's card in the car, like literally on the way while my husband was driving. And I just had this feeling inside, because we were running late. We were racing to get all the food for the picnic and pack everything and have it all right. And I'd been doing writing in the morning and planning podcasting stuff. And, you get pulled in so many different directions. And then I'm hurriedly writing this birthday card for my dad. And I had this feeling in the pit of my stomach. I'm like, how have I got to this point where, your time is so constrained and you're feeling I felt really flat. And part of me was like, I just want to go home and just spend the whole day, just have a day of just writing and just so I can focus on the work and get the work done. And so this is what I was saying to my husband. Went to the picnic, sat in the sun, played with my nieces. We went for a nice bushwalk down by the river. We laughed. We had a nice lunch.
Beautiful.
3 hours of that, and I felt 1,000 times better for it. And so it's almost like the things that you think you need to help with the burnout might actually not be.
Yeah, because even that idea, Madeleine, about I wish I could have some time to write, it's a double-edged sword, because that is the thing that's leading to maybe feeling of fatigue or burnout, and that is also the thing that nourishes. But sometimes you just have to take a pivot. And it's not forever. Like, these things don't, if you look after yourself or if you know how to look after yourself, they kind of pass.
What about you, Tina?
I was just thinking when you were talking about Madeleine, like being outside and bushwalking and being in the sun. And I think there are a couple of things. Like one is just keeping it simple. Hey,
Yeah.
sometimes you go, maybe I'll go and get a massage, or maybe I'll go for a soak, or I need to meditate. And never done it before, but surely that's what will fix me. And there's that concept of nature bathing, which you've both probably heard of before. And honestly, just a walk outside, even if it's just outside, even if you don't live in near somewhere where there's bush, but surely just fresh air and sunshine, or if you're in Melbourne, rain, and lots of wind. No, I know that it's lovely there. But yeah, being out in the sun and just breathing in some fresh air and making it simple, right? And really achievable, and just what you have there right now. And maybe it is just taking a bath, or
Exactly.
I actually have like multiple showers in a day, and it's all just part of how I work. I try not to. If the day's going well, that's fine, but I just get in spaces where I need like a circuit breaker for me to get to one place to the other, as in like a thought process in my brain. It clears my brain, because as we all know, you go in the shower, there's nothing much else you can do in there except for shower things, which and yeah, normally things that will I find it calming. Some people might not, but yeah, so even a nice shower, some nice smelly soap, keeping it simple maybe.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be complicated at all.
And you know what? You've actually, I think, connected something here, Tina, which is like the shower and the bath is a way of doing nothing, and almost like hanging out with my family. It's not like it's doing nothing, but it actually makes you focus on something, which is not all those other thoughts that are going around in your head and all those other hats that we wear. Like when you're talking with a 3-year-old, your focus is very much on the ducks and the water and the lake and all those types of things. She actually said to me on the swings today, she turned to me because we're both on the swings. She's only at 2.5, and she says to me, "I saw your book in the bookshop." It's like,
Bless.
Oh, that's so cool. And so just, I think part of me wants to withdraw, but I think actually part of my self-care is not to withdraw. It's to hang around with people that nourish. And I think that's really important.
Connection, totally.
Yeah, I love that idea.
So you're all feeling well and okay? Are you at all close to burnout, or are you feeling good? I'm going to check in with you both.
Oh, I think I'm doing okay now. I think that as soon after I got back from Melbourne after the book launch, and like we're kind of settled from that, I really felt just all of a sudden one day I just kind of stood there. I just looked at my husband and I was like, I don't feel like I have to do something right now. Like I mean, I do. I always have stuff to do, but I don't feel like this massive weight on me. I almost just feel like I've got a bit of time. It's so, well, not time, but mental space. I think just everything just lifted, and I feel like there's a little bit of downtime now, which is nice, really nice. But I think sometimes you don't realize how close you're getting to burnout, or how overwhelmed you are until afterwards, and you go, wow, that was what a change in brain space. So I think that's the other thing, right, is that some people don't realize when you're getting close to that, because it just creeps up on you. And what are some of the signs, Tash, that you're taking on too much?
So some of the signs are things, well, the obvious ones, being really tired, not being able to focus on things that you always found easy to do, or finding things really onerous, like the thought of cooking dinner, or the thought of doing a shop, or the thought of going to work, whatever. It feels like they're huge tasks that suggest that your body is just using up too much energy to keep you alive to do all of that other work. A sense of depression. So not like depression is different, but that idea of that feeling depressive, like this is really hard, I can't really do anything. A lot of self-loathing or criticism. That's really common. Like, I can't do this. Why am I so hopeless? Why? And especially if that's not a familiar thing, or that's creeping in a lot. And this is a catch-22 as well. The more you doubt yourself, the more mistakes you make. That's another sign that burnout's on the way, or that you're in burnout, because you do make more mistakes, and the more mistakes you make, it's again the self-fulfilling kind of prophecy. And lack of different changes in appetite and sleep, they're big ones too. If you're eating too much, you're not eating at all, and of course the body will show you, like infections, getting sick. Like if you get sick frequently in a short space of time, especially
looking
things
at
like
you,
colds.
Madeleine.
Especially things like colds and sore throats, they're quite common in burnout. Random aches and pains. It's just because when we're starting to stress, we hold our bodies differently, and then we start carrying stress in different parts of the body. So if you don't know your signs, that's okay. What you can do is, if you do get into burnout, you can start to do a reverse map of when did I start feeling something. if you don't even know what the something is, just figure out when did things change.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Di Taylor, author of the YA historical fiction novel Anna's War. My pen name is DJ Taylor. The story of Anna's War began a long time before I wrote a single word. It began in southern Holland in the final brutal years of World War II. I was inspired by the real-life memories of my parents-in-law and a friend of theirs. They are childhood recollections of Nazi occupation, resistance, and the courage just to survive. My mother-in-law's father hid in a secret cellar beneath the family home, while soldiers patrolled the streets above, arresting able-bodied men and transporting them to work in German factories. These German factories were frequently bombed by the Allies. The emotional heart of Anna's War rests in the true stories of silence, fear, and defiance. As the Nazis tighten their grip, Anna's world becomes smaller, darker, and infinitely more dangerous. Though Anna's journey is fictional, the world she lives in and the choices she makes are rooted in real-life acts of bravery and sacrifice. Anna's War was released on 2nd of July and is published by Riveted Press. Riveted Press has the tagline, "Where unforgettable stories are forged." And I hope if you read Anna's War, it will be a story that will stay with you long after you have read it.
The focus thing, I think, really resonated with me because I'm pretty good at focusing on tasks generally. But I definitely found, because I went to Noosa recently for a week, and I don't think I quite realised how close I was to burnout until I went away and stopped as well. Sometimes when you do have that. And every single morning I was exercising, I was going for a swim, I was reading books and being able to focus for hours on books. And that is something I don't think I can do in a normal like day to day at the moment, because there is just so much going on. So what I have done, I've actually deleted a lot of my like social media apps again from my phone, but I've gone more than just Instagram. I've got, deleted Messenger, my emails as well from my phone. So now I can only check emails on my laptop.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, so I schedule like certain things because I just found, I don't know if you both find this, I just get a lot of author-based emails now, a lot of admin. And I'm not sure where it comes from or why, but, it's just the admin has increased since becoming a published writer.
Yeah, yeah. And it makes sense not to have it on your phone, because unless you're sitting down ready to address an email, why are we checking it? And same as Instagram messages and even text messages. Honestly, the amount of times I don't respond back and I feel horrible about it, but it's because I've looked at it like when I'm walking from my car to the office or something, like why, I don't know, and as a habit. And then I forget that it's even happened because I can't give it the brain space. And then like 3 weeks later, I go, oh, that's right, that person messaged me. And so why did I even look? Yeah, it makes complete sense just to take them all off and time block, as Jessica suggested, and just look at it then when you've got the brain space.
Because otherwise you're thinking about how you're going to respond to it because you see it pop up and you start already thinking about it. Whereas if you just schedule, and I schedule time, I time box it. After work, I have like in my calendar now, like an hour after work to just go through my author emails and Instagram messages and that type of stuff. And I've found that has been helpful for the focus. Yeah.
And the mental load, hey, because even sometimes you can open one of the many messaging services and get something that's not great news or just confusing news or just news that you just don't want to know about right now when you're about to walk into work or sit down and write or something like that. And that just totally distracts you. So unless you're ready to be prepared for whatever's coming at you in one of those messaging services, then maybe it's best not to look. I'm talking to myself here too. So I think I'm going to get off and because I've even noticed with Instagram lately, because that's pretty much the only one that I use, I actually pick up my phone and I I kind of don't want to open it. Like, I think I just, when you're going through that sort of launch period and stuff, and I didn't do heaps of stuff on there, but I just wanted to be around for whenever there's mentions or reviews and acknowledge that, because I know that it's time for people to write these reviews and post things about your book or your launch and stuff. So I wanted to be around to, acknowledge that. But so when that's all sort of dying down, I'm really looking at it now. Because I actually don't want to. Sometimes I'm sick of just picking up my phone. So I'm going to leave this interview, catch up, and I'm going to do the same and just take them all off and time block them.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, the impact of all of that is creating space, and then you have more time for connection, which is, a lot of us love connection with others or nature. So the irony always is, the more you slow down, the more time and space you do create, because you're able to just really distill down to what is it I need to do. Because the more you try and do, the more you reinforce there's more to be done. So it just leads you into this other whole place that's not helpful.
Mm-hmm. It's like when I was talking meditation with Jane Tara about manifesting, and she meditates, and that's saying that if you don't have time, or you think you're too busy to meditate for an hour, then meditate for 2. And it really, and I get it, and I know it's practical. Just sit down, and even if you clear your mind for just like 10-15 minutes, it's like, helps. I think to myself, I don't even have 10-15 minutes. Literally every second of my day is mapped out. But if you have 15 minutes, it's like, well, maybe I will save time elsewhere during the day, because my brain will be functioning better and I can focus better. So again, time block meditation into my daily calendar.
Well, this actually segues really nicely into, Tash, your intention setting episode. And do you want to talk a little bit, I suppose, about intention setting and what your plan is around your episodes in future?
Yes. So I always set that intention partly for personal selfish reasons, because I was struggling with time. And Sally, in that Sally Good episode, she just kept mentioning time, and I really latched onto it. And I just thought that it would be a really lovely way to add a bit of, I don't know, to distill or take something out of the episode that really touched me. So that was what I was thinking in terms of setting that intention, and how you can look at a different aspect of your manuscript or your writing craft or practice, especially because at the time I was flirting on the edge of burnout. So I found that very useful, even for myself, to be like, okay, what am I doing with my time? And I also loved Sally's, when she talks about her anchoring her story or her narrative or her plot in time, because that's just another layer of attention you can bring to your work. So that was my thinking. Yeah.
I'm interested to know about anchoring manuscripts in time. How would you go about doing that?
Good question. So I guess I'm thinking about Onslaught, and because that's set across different time periods, and each scene I wrote set in different times, I immersed myself fully into that. So what was happening then, what might have been in the environment around these people then, and really tried not to compare, tried really not to think about what Arch might be experiencing. That's one of my characters, and in say 1997 compared to what she might be experiencing in 2024, because it's a huge amount of time. And as soon as you start comparing, you start writing it with a different mindset, because you're writing it from here back there. I'm doing things with my hands that no one can see, so that's really helpful. But yeah, I think that the ability, I think, to get into the time that you're writing. And Madeleine, this must be something you have to think about, right? Because you're writing.
And I think you can almost go too far, because I spend a lot of time trawling through old newspapers, generally, mostly on Trove, because it's just so interesting to anchor yourself in that the time period. more recently I was looking up, for example, I did a deep dive into mediums who practice medical diagnosis in the time period of 1870 to 1880 in Melbourne. So I want a very specific time period and a very specific thing. And I just uncovered all this really interesting stuff. And, you know, but I spent probably like 2 hours just on that little topic and that little nugget, because I just find it really intriguing. So you
but
can go
surely it gets your mind thinking in a very different, specific way that your characters would have thought, or that's their whole world.
And also the writing. I mean, even writing in the 90s is different. The way we spoke in the 90s, the language we use in the 90s is different to even now. And of course, 1870s is very different. But I think as well, like I know it's not really about it. Well, I guess it is a little bit about time, and Tina writing from a child's perspective.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, I think so.
I feel like I am still a child, so I find that very easy to do. But I do have to say, I'm sure there's lots of middle grade writers who don't have children, but geez, it's been helpful. I think I don't know if I would have been able to connect enough with where they're at now, because it's very different to where we were at, but still not they're still the same, you know.
But I'm curious about that, Tina. Like, do you feel like I know it must be hard because you're their parent, but also seeing how they've changed over time and what interests them at different points, and not that you're using your children in your books, but what occupies at different times. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's been, well, in respect to the Wilder Zoo series, it's, you know, she's got quite a unique life. And I specifically, I remember there was a question early on in one of the edits, and someone said, well, wouldn't she just have a phone? And I was like, no, once you had, I was like, well, no, I mean, she's 11, lots of 11-year-olds probably have phones, but, you know, she also like lives in a zoo, and she's like, you know, once you introduce a phone and technology like that, I don't see how you can make a plot worth anything really, because you can just use the phone to Google the answer or call for help. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no drama. Where's the conflict? You get out of it all because you can just ring.
So, Tash, is this something, do you think you're going to start intention setting for your future episodes?
Yes, I think so, because it's been really helpful for me. And I know that some of the feedback we've had from listeners, they like it too. So, yes.
Please do.
Stay tuned.
And then we can also chat about it in our catch-ups.
Yeah,
we can stick to theme. Oh, my goodness. Look at us.
We can try.
We can try. All right. We're going to do little short tips. Tina, take us away.
Gosh. Okay. Well, my top tip for authors or anybody really is when they're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, which I know is hard to identify sometimes, but I'm going to go with my nature bathing. There's lots of papers on it if you want to, or just articles if you want to look it up. It's an actual term. It does actual measurable change to your body. And I mean, you can listen to a podcast, you can listen to some music or something, or an audiobook, or you can literally just go outside and listen to nature, whatever that may be for you. And you know what? Even if you don't have that, you can, there's lots of audio that you can get from, you can get it for free, just even on like YouTube and stuff like that. But, you know, if you've got any of those music apps, they have some lovely nature sounds, and even that is actually proven to be helpful. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes, even if that's all that you can do, it's scientifically proven. Get out there, take some deep breaths.
Love that. And I'm just going to add on to that, ocean swims as well. If you can. I mean, it's a privilege, right?
It's a bit of a luxury.
It's a luxury. But if you get that opportunity, take it. I felt so, so good after those ocean swims. And I had, because I went quite early in the morning, and a lot of the surfers there at Noosa were, in their wetsuits, and a couple of them, because I was just in my bathers. What do you call them in Queensland? Togs?
Dogs. Yeah, no, whatever. Bathers as well. Yeah.
And they were like, oh, gosh, you're brave, like going in without a wetsuit. I'm like, I'm a Melburnian.
I'm from Melbourne. Yeah.
Natasha?
And if you don't have the ocean, you can have just a cold shower.
Cold shower. Yes.
Yeah.
I've heard about this and the whole, like, I used to cold shower. I was during summer. I probably will go back to that. Like 1 minute, I just stand under a cold shower. It's most supposed to bring out like brown fat or something. It's not what I call it.
Didn't know about that.
Is that a thing? Is that not a thing? I'm going to have to Google it after this. Yeah. Apparently, brown fat is very good for you.
Oh. Okay.
It like builds, like, I think it's like a term. I don't think it's an actual thing, but it's meant to like help you with like building, your good immunity and good mental health. And like, I think that's what the term's called. And if not, then just ignore everything I'm saying.
There's no actual medical advice given here.
Exactly.
Don't listen to us.
So my tip wasn't about the shower, but I just thought I'd add it in. My tip, because I've been so immersed in emerging writers' world lately, especially reading some of the entries for this prize that I'm judging, please, writers out there, double, triple check your work before you submit, because it is really heartbreaking as a judge when you read a piece that's really good and then there are some errors that you can easily fix, like tense changes, spelling errors. And I know that, sometimes with deadlines in life, you don't have time, but I think it's better that you don't submit if you really are rushed than to submit something that's not up to your, like a good standard, because, as a judge, I'm like, no, this is so good, but please, if only you had just taken a bit of time. So time, there's that theme, take some more time and just check your work, please, before you submit, especially to competition.
Love it. Well, that's an excellent way to finish. All right, ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, talk soon.
I'm going to go have a cold shower now.
Or an ocean swim.
Could.
You could. We couldn't. Actually, you probably could too, Tash.
No, I'll just stick with a cold shower.
Hi, it's Madeleine here. A quick update about the Book Deal podcast. So after a year of our podcast and 51 episodes, we're looking to grow our community. If you've been enjoying the show and want to help keep us bringing you conversations about the writing life, we'd love for you to join our Patreon for the cost of just a coffee per month. Your contribution will be going directly to cover the costs of our podcast, and it also means we'll be able to keep paying our sound producer, Brogan. We've got lots of exciting things planned for our patrons, and we can't wait to share more as it all unfolds. So if you'd like to come along for the ride, head to patreon.com/the Book Deal podcast, or just click on the link in our show notes, and we'd love to have you on board. Thanks so much for listening and for being part of the Book Deal podcast family.
Thank you for listening to the Book Deal podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the pod so you can receive updates as soon as our new eps drop. And to keep up to date with what the pod is doing, you can also find us on Instagram.